just back from Japan is Adam Kennedy, who is the TV pilot screenplay winner for Gotham Knights. How's it going, Adam?
Pretty good, Matt. Thanks a lot.
All right, so you saw the reading of your script. Of course, it's never going to be 100% of what you envision in your head, because that's not the way it is. But what was your initial thoughts?
I really thought it was interesting to watch. Definitely just, I think the word that came to mind for me was surreal. When I was watching it, it was just kind of like something that I had like sort of imagined for years, finally on paper, and then all of a sudden some other people who I'd of course never met, just putting it, like giving it some sort of like voice and like an embodiment. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, sometimes the collaboration is like it goes from to the casting director, in this case, casting director, to the director, the person who directed it, to the actors. So sometimes it's different for the better, sometimes it's different for the worse, sometimes it's just different for the unusual, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all a really interesting part of the creative process. Like, I have my own little sort of vision, but as I, get on the road and hopefully make something of it, it's obviously going to change. So, I mean, this is a really interesting, just sort of exercise to go through as a writer and see what it's like to have other people who don't have an attachment to it just start working with it and doing things with it. So that was neat.
And of course, everybody's intention is to do the best job, and they care about it at the same time, just like you do, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I was definitely overall very pleased with what I saw. So that was definitely really encouraging.
So this is obviously a Batman kind of the Batman universe kind of a script?
Yeah, it's sort of like a sort of alternative take or spin on the sort of Batman universe, approaching it through the minor characters of Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, and those sorts of people.
So one of those things is that, like me, I'm maybe an average Batman fan, right, whereas the casting director kind of knows everything about Batman, read the comic book. So we kind of took it at two different kinds of angles. I just took it the point of view of it's not about the fanboy, it's about the average fan, kind of watching this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I certainly try, when I was writing it, to balance things, so people who know a lot about the Batman, legends, or getting little Easter eggs and things in the script, different character names that they go, oh, I know who that is. But at the same time, introducing them in a way that someone who hasn't maybe known too much isn't lost on what's going on. So I certainly tried to do that. I'm sure I can work on it more and refine things to make it clear in case it didn't come off. But certainly that's the goal.
So it's a good pilot in many ways, because it has a one main character, and so generally in pilots, what you executed is the main character has moments with all the other supporting characters. So in your script, you had a moment with your mom, the moment with the dad, the moment with the girl, the moment with the butler. You know what I mean? You always right. Every scene has an individual moment with Dick Grayson and somebody else.
Right. Yeah. He's definitely going around and sort of exploring the universe and meeting who's in it. And that's this pilot so far.
And so we get little nuggets of each of the individual supporting actors while we get to know great Dick Grayson a great deal, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm setting out to do here in the pilot, is establishing his world. Instead of getting swept up into Batman's world, which down the line eventually we come to that, you'd hope. But definitely for the beginning, we're focusing on Dick Grayson and what he's all about.
But it's one of those things where you just mentioned it about Batman is the end game, or the middle. You know what I mean? As an audience member, we know he's coming eventually, right?
Exactly. I certainly dropped some hints in that pilot about his existence. He's there, but he's sort of lingering on the edges, and certainly, that's sort of my approach to it, is sort of coming at Batman as someone who is maybe not working with him yet, but he's on his path, and you can kind of see that story taking shape. And the idea of sort of leaving him on the fringe as well. If you were in that universe, I think that's how he would be, perceived, to you, is just sort of this thing in the corner of your eye that you don't quite see, and then it's gone. And so that's sort of I thought it was interesting, just sort of a different approach to take towards Batman, where in every other medium we're always with Batman the whole time.
But didn't you, correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, I'm just didn't you change it's just like an alternate universe. Like the parents die, don't they? In this moment,
they typically do, and of course, as a fan, you kind of you'd see that and go, well, that's a little different, and not to tip my hand too much, but somewhere down the line, there we could have a little bit of a future course correction kind of thing going on. So there are things happening, but yeah, certainly the pilot I set out to sort of subvert expectations of the audience a bit.
Yeah.
And at the same, sort of similar way that it's like Smallville did that with the Superman story. Certainly that's the sort of canon or angle that I'm taking with this show.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if it's also reminding me of I know this is a different universe, but it reminded me of like Spider-Man in high school, kind of a thing.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. It's really interesting just working with the genre, because I think you can sort of it's very malleable, and I think you can sort of do really interesting storylines if you just sort of twist the perspective and look at it just a slightly different way. You get some really interesting and rich storylines that can come out.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and obviously there's a market for it now, right? Like, even with the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, like, obviously,
right,
there is a market for it in the CW network.
Yep, definitely. So that would definitely be my ultimate goal, is getting in with some of those guys and getting some interest over there. So
what's next for you? You just got back from Japan. Are you
Well, yeah, I'm just sort of settling into the city again, and I'm going to be volunteering at Toronto International Film Festival in September. So I'm looking forward to that, and meeting some people and networking. I'd like to get some work in the city, just sort of getting some experience in the film industry. So it'd sort of be my first foray into that, and learning a lot of the technical aspects of what goes into like making like a TV show or a feature and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you have a good spec. Like, that's what about. You have something to showcase agents and stuff. Like, this is a good spec, and obviously it's on video now, and it's got some good hits already. So
yeah, that was very exciting to see. Every time I check in and see that more and more people are checking it out and liking it, and I was going, wow, that's really fun. Like, that's cool. So it's certainly really encouraging to me that you see that, and it sort of just keeps you going on the path.
So what else have you written? Like, do you have anything else that you on the pipe?
Yeah, I've while I was in Japan, I started working on another sort of pilot script, but it's very different. It's sort of a comedy, dramedy kind of thing. But that one's, again, it's based off of a book and I guess a movie as well that they've turned it into, that I thought was really interesting. And so I'm writing a pilot there, and I got a few more ideas for TV pilots and some features as well. So hopefully get to those this fall and start some work there.
All right, it sounds like you got some good stuff going on. So do you have a Bible for this show? Like in the perfect world, and you get to shoot this first season. Like, do you know where you want to head? Like, where it's going to go?
Yep, I have a very very clear vision, or something that I would certainly like to see out of my first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I have some ideas on where I'd like to take it. But yeah, it's always like in the back of my mind, like, what can we do down the line? What storylines can we pull out and sort of, use from comics and source material in the show, and when would be the best time to put them in. So certainly, yeah, I think the first 2 seasons I really have an idea of like what I'd like to do, and beyond that, just some loose ideas, but nothing super firm, which I think is important, because it is a creative process and things are always going to change up until the last minute. So
100%. Like, and it seems like from the pilot, it seems like he's got a lot of mentors, like a lot of male mentors.
Right.
So either one of them's got to turn. Well, we know one of them's going to turn evil, or one of them's one of them has to be a twist and pass and die. Right. Like.
Yeah, there are certainly a lot of people who are interested in what's going on with this guy. So it's interesting to see him and these people as they develop, and how he reacts to them as he grows as a character.
All right, Adam. Before we leave you, any TV shows that's your favorite?
Oof. Well, I'm kind of watch a bunch of everything, but I watch, BBC stuff like Sherlock, Doctor Who, watch things from How I Met Your Mother through Arrow, of course, and yeah, just a few of those kind of shows. So I'm sort of, I sort of watch a bit of everything.
Yeah, you're like a fanboy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely watch a lot of stuff, and that certainly helps me, motivate and get interesting ideas for like sort of my own writing, and sort of spurs like inspiration for me.
So let me ask you some advice, because we're in a couple months we'll be doing like the best comic book movies ever made. Like, what's the best comic book movie ever made?
Oof. Well, that's a real tough one, but certainly I think I have to go with Batman Begins, because I really liked that take on the Batman mythology, and that origin story I thought was really interesting in that movie. So, I mean, as good as Dark Knight was, I really do prefer Batman Begins out of that trilogy that Christopher Nolan did.
And it's a movie about fear, dealing with your fear, right? So
yeah, it was really neat. So certainly that was one of my formative things that sort of set me on this path to developing this TV show.
All right, good luck with everything, and congratulations again. And I was really happy to showcase your script.
Oh, thanks a lot, Matt. No problem.